We are here in this Gems of the Vault working to renew some of our purpose together. And we do that by returning to origins. And the teachings that I'm going to share with you guys today are the teachings from the second lodge ever. And that was February 18th, 2017. Before we had Zoom and before we had luminaries, we recorded all the classes and the lodge meetings on audio. But the teachings from February 18th, my dad's birthday, interestingly, come from even before that. We actually have the audio recordings starting from the fourth lodge meeting. So these teachings have been preserved in writing only. In fact, it would be 2 more months after the second lodge that William would first come to LA to teach my students for the first time. April 21st and 22nd, 2017, William taught the Lunar Mansions. So it's just incredible to think how much we had then and how much we have now, and just to recognize how everything is unfolded. The opening temple rites were taught to me by William 13 years prior. The LBRP, the purification and consecration rites. And we do that LBRP at the top of the lodge, at the top of our ceremonies, of course, to set our sacred space, to clear away any undesirable energy, but really to set the table for us to invite our guides, our teachers, to connect with the archetypes of specific perfected energies. And the beginning and the end of the LBRP is the Kabbalistic cross, which might seem very simple on the surface, but the surface is the exoteric, right? The things that are in plain view, like tarot cards, just a cool bunch of drawings. So the Kabbalistic cross looks like a simple crossing of the self, with some chanting of some Hebrew names. With all Kabbalistic rituals, there are no less than 4 things going on simultaneously. So what can be perceived? The movements. But these are sacred gestures and postures. In the East, they are called asanas and mudras, and we call them the God forms, the signs, the elemental signs, and the signals. So in the exoteric, they're poses, they're body positions. But in the mysteries, those ways which we stand, that we choose to make with our bodies and with our hands, represent the embodiment of elemental and divine energies in our physical vehicle. Remember, we are building that temple within us as we meet in a temple about us. Secondly, there is an intonation, which we call a vibration. And to the exoteric, it's the sound of chanting, it's a vocalization. And in the esoteric, it is the extraction of the essential powers of the sacred letter, be they Hebrew, Greek, or Latin, or magical languages. And each time before we intone, we take a deep inhale and we send the words forth with a forcefulness that moves us. We send that vibration and we imagine that extending beyond the walls of the temple to the farthest expanse of that direction. Thirdly, there's the visualization, which is more than just a vision. It's a thought form which is created in the mind's eye. So a vision is something that we can receive passively. I have a vision. But a thought form is done with intention, and it is created purposefully. It's constructed in light and color and shape and symbol. And we tap into the archetypes that way, and we add to their power as well. And finally, there is the potent aspect of opening our energetic channels in the body, aligning with the magical current, transmuting, invigorating, working upon us. As a magician holds a wand aloft to connect to divinity, so do we raise our hand to the great unknown to connect to higher intelligence. And through the invocation of angelic beings, which is theurgy, information may be transmitted to us. And in turn, our collective energy creates the egregore, built of our collective conscious magical power. To that we all contribute. And from that we draw support and inspiration and a continuing flow of life force energy. So when we work together as a group, and I have noticed that some nice refinements must have occurred over our time in Bohemia, because the harmony that I'm hearing today already, and when we did the vocalizations, when we did the vibrations at the scrying, who was there? You were there. That was very, very special. The sound, when you have it right in the pocket and all of the voices are harmonizing, and you guys know it sounds like a choir of angels. So when we work as a group, the doors open. So I want you guys to imagine it like a stack of photographs. Pick one picture for every arborist in a stack. Now let's add to that stack of photographs all of those magicians who came before us. You see each photo in the pile, different generations. And every person looks completely unique in shape and in form and in appearance. Yet you could take that stack of photographs and you could line up all of the images so that the heart is always in the same place. Can you imagine? It's like we took the heart breath and pierced right through it. We could line up. Some people are a little taller. We could line up the heart. When that lines up, can you imagine the energy that can move along the channels of the lineage? Now, one of those orientation points that we can line up the stack to is in the Kabbalistic cross. It's marked on the high priestess, right? See her right here. There's an orientation point right here. So let us think when we're doing that Kabbalistic cross that we're orienting to that center point of each other and to everybody before us, right? And why we're doing it, to allow that to open. It's like the conduit of light. So let us aim in our movements to move in sync with the rhythm, with the movements of the group. We follow the officiant, whoever's leading the ritual. We might have different techniques and different positions that we customize in our own personal ritual, but when we work together, the energy becomes more potent when we move in unison. With the visualizations and the thought forms, that's really up to you as an individual to make them as clear and as crisp as possible. Now, in our teachings today, the one, it is the triplicity of one. It is the 1, 1, 1. So we can think of that, and we'll go deeper into it. But that clear and open channel, the one, in the mental and the emotional and etheric, is one way to think about it. It's said that the spiritual body is perfect, and that the physical human is formed in a perfect image of the divine. But what's in between, the soul, made up of the mind and the emotions and the etheric matrix, is subject to all kinds of distortion, and it's affected by everything and everyone who we encounter, but it's also affected by our magic, by our visualization, by our intonation. Call it the vision and the voice. And it's affected by our orientation, our conscious movement, and our placement of ourselves here. So when we rebalance and we align those three, we then unite the spiritual and physical bodies. The uniting is the two becoming one. And the one, that is the goal, as it was also the origin. The one, the simplest number, although it holds the infinite potentiality, the one is clean. The line, the wand, the ray. So let us be like the one. Let's stand for our opening rituals.